Hey, greetings, folks. Apostle Lewis here with you. We're going to take some time just to talk about what do we do when God touches us. How do we go from faith to faith, glory to glory? How do we take a word from God and extract the revelation out of it? How do we let that stuff unfold? And I want to give you an example of something. One of the times the Lord spoke to me. I want to do this over and over again, but just when I look at the encounter I had with the Lord concerning salt, and I want to go back, give you some dates. I want you to see that. I want you to know that when God talks to me, how do I go from, hey, that was a great encounter, it was a great moment, to extracting a level of revelation out of there that it is revelatory. It is a journey I go on versus just another time where I might journal and the Lord spoke to me on this night, or it was a really good meeting and it touched me. But what does God want to do with that deeper in my life? And so the reason I've been doing Moments of Impact is because what I'm trying to get us to understand is that when we have an encounter with God, there's so much in that encounter that if we would extract from it, you would have a series of encounters. And I this is something that I think we're not trained to do. We're trained more to be satisfied instead of actually to recognize our hunger. And so, and I believe that what happens is, you could be hungry, but if you're constantly told that hunger is wrong, or you shouldn't be hungry, you should be satisfied, and then what happens is you begin to squelch that nudge of God. You begin to beat it down, so to speak, where you're not getting what you can get if you were to actually go after it more with God. So what I want to do, if I can, is to take you through what happened to me. I want to try to pull up the date here on my this goes all the way back. Look, I have questions and dealing with Salt Covenant that literally go back. And this started I was trying to figure out how many years it's been. It's actually been since around 2013 that the Lord, 2012, 2013, somewhere the Lord started speaking to me about salt. Now, I want to tell you how I think part of this came about. My wife had a dream one night, and she woke up in the morning and she told me her dream. And the dream was this. She looked at me, she said, I had this dream last night that I went up to Benny Johnson, and I said to her, the Lord is going to give you the language of Melchizedek. And she said it was so real. I almost expected her to be right here. And I said, okay. And so what I did was I decided to email Benny. I have Benny and Bill's email, so I emailed them, and I said, and I told Benny what my wife had heard from the Lord, and she responded back. She said, I'll pray into it, and never really have talked to her about it anymore. However, for me, I was like, wait a minute. There's no way, God, I am going to be satisfied with you walking by me and telling someone else that they're going to get the language of Melchizedek, and I'm not going to participate. I was actually touched. I want to say touched. I was grieved might be a better word. Frustrated, like, wait a minute, I don't want to be just a messenger in something like that. I want to be part of that. I want to have that encounter as well. And so I began to pray this to the Lord I started to pray, Lord, what is it about the salt? What is it about Melchizedek? And I started saying, Lord, I don't want you to pass me by when it comes to salt. I really want to participate in this. I really want to know what you're speaking in this. And I'm so grateful that the Lord was so gracious to me to allow me the privilege of maybe going down this road a little bit. But I think that it was, and I want to sit there and say this because I don't think that we really understand this, but because I was intentional, and I'm going to be on this theme for quite a while. That we have to learn to be intentional. That sometimes the Lord didn't speak to me. The Lord didn't say to me, hey, son, I want to teach you about Melchizedek. But I was close enough in the room that I was like, wait, whoa, that I am not happy with you possibly giving someone else and me not participating in it. I just wasn't happy with it. I was kind of taken back by it. And I began to pray. And I began to ask the Lord about salt. About Melchizedek. About Melchizedek. I got to keep it in the right line here. And then the Lord decided to speak to me one night. And this was around March of 2013, if I remember correctly. And I told you I was going to bed, and the Lord spoke to me. I read Mark chapter 9, 49, seasoned with salt. And as I was going to bed, the Lord spoke to me. He said, I want to make a salt covenant with you. Whoa. And I'm ordained. I'm a prophet, apostle. I have sat there. I don't make this stuff up. I'm not, matter of fact, I'm less comfortable than most people in sharing that stuff with you. Because I'm not ever looking to exalt myself or anything like that, but I'm not going to deny at the same time, I'm not going to deny what happened in my life. And so I went back and I sat there and prayed, got up the next morning and started researching everything I could on salt. Now, why is this important? We've got to learn to be intentional with our walk with the Lord. With our, I said this Sunday in church, what's the job of a leader? And you get all these things, servant, blah, 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 you got all these things. The job of a leader is to lead. You know what the job of a follower is to do? To follow. So it was important for me to follow the Spirit as the Spirit led. Look, those who are led by the Spirit. What is the Spirit's number one job? To lead. That's what he says. He's to lead me into all righteousness, all truth, into wisdom. And he's to lead me. He does that in every area. So he's not a follower of me. He's a leader of me. He leads me. What's my job to do? To follow him, to track him, to see what he's doing. Everything else should be in this vein. But if I'm not willing to do my homework, so I have learned over the years that you are to study the word to show yourself approved. So in other words, part of the thing that I feel that I need to do is when the Lord speaks to me, is that I need to at the same time search those things out. So I went through all the scriptures on salt. Okay, started researching, started praying into them, and then the Lord began to unfold. And I always tell people, salt led to the priesthood of the order of Melchizedek, which led to the watcher angels and working with them in the courtrooms. So I was intentional. And here's what happens in our moments of impact with God. The moment of impact on that one word spoken to Kathy, then the word spoken to me, has led me these last 8 years into revelation. Not because I'm greater than you, not because I'm called, I'm an apostle, none of that, but because I was intentional with the Spirit. I intentionally followed. He intentionally leads. And he won't lead me past my willing to go. He won't. He'll only lead me as long as I'm willing to follow, because the moment I stop following him, he's no longer leading me. Do you understand? The moment I stop following, he is no longer leading. Why? Because the leading and following go together. He might be doing the act of leading, but he isn't leading me because I choose not to follow. Do you understand? I can lead, but if no one's following, I'm really not leading. Okay? You got to have someone who's following you to be leading. You understand? I can do all the stuff of leading, but if there's no one following the connection, there's no purpose in it. And so even though he is still leading, he's always leading. He's not always leading everybody. Not everybody's following him. So everyone is not being led by the Spirit, even though he's always leading. You understand? That not everyone is led by the Spirit because they're not intentionally following him. And I've learned to be intentional in this, in my pursuit for revelation, my pursuit for him. And sometimes I get a little carried away, maybe, but I think that's the benefit of it, to really, really go after the Spirit in that vein. And for a lot of people, they don't do that. For a lot of people, they get bored. Now, I will tell you this, in 8 years, 8.5, almost 9 years now, I have not only been on the Salt or Melchizedek, but because I'm always listening for it, it's in my spirit that if I hear something that I can, that touches me in that vein, I know it. I know it. And it allows me to grab hold of it. And that's why I keep a folder of notes. I got notes all over the place where, God will just speak to me. I'll grab this thing and God just spoke to me. And I'll write in there again, always doing that. Why? Because I want to be intentional with my walk. You have to be intentional. Listen to me. You must learn to be intentional with your walk with the Spirit. Otherwise, you won't walk with him. You won't walk with him just because the Spirit says he's leading doesn't mean you're following. Just because the Spirit says that those who are led by the Spirit are the sons of God doesn't mean that's automatic. Just because Paul said to walk in the Spirit doesn't mean you are. You must be intentional to walk with God. Why? Because to be unintentional is off course all the time. Jesus was intentional in his journey. Paul was intentional in his journey. Abraham was intentional in his journey. And I want you to learn that is, listen to me, I want you to catch this, that is the act of faith. That is faith. Faith is not doing nothing. Faith is intentional. Faith is not passive. Faith is not just what shall be, shall be. That's not faith. Faith is knowing what you're called to do and being intentional to do it according to the pattern you saw. And people think that greatness, that people just had all this grace on them, but the great people have been very intentional with their walk. I hope that means something to you. It's a focus. It's intentional. Amen. We got some things coming up. January 21st to 23rd, Todd Bentley. There's the JPEG right there. Todd Bentley will be with us, so I'm hoping that you'll join us for that. By the way, you can go ahead now, if you want to sign up for the School of the Spirit, School of the Prophets, you can sign up for that right now by texting GATE GSS, one word, GATE GSS, to number 77411. Okay, if you just text that, you'll be in that group. We're going to extract that group because you're going to get the notes, the updates, and stuff like that. We'll shift that over to email so you won't get that through text message all the time. But we have to collect that information from you. We want to get your demographics. Demographics we want is where you are. That's just it. We just want to know where everyone's at that we're doing this to. And it's free. It's starting around February 15th. It's going to be right here on the app. Every Tuesday night, we're going to get on there together, okay, on the Gate Church app at 7 o'clock, and we're going to have a discussion. And you're going to be able to text me back a question on my phone. So when it's time to take questions, we'll open it up. You'll be able to text me, and I'll be able to sit there and read it right here while we're going live, and we'll get your text message. And that's how we're going to do it, okay? And so I'm really looking forward to that, okay? I'm really, really looking forward to that. So I hope that you will join me in that. So text GATE GSS to 77411 if you are interested in joining us on Tuesday nights for the School of the Prophets. It's the GATE School of the Spirit. We're going to do School of the Prophets, and I'm going to be teaching a lot of things. I'm going to be sending out some polls. That's why you want to get on this. I'm going to be sending out some polls to see where everyone's at. Have you ever been to the School of the Prophets before? Do you prophesy now? Do you want to learn how to go deeper in prophecy? What you want to learn how to heal the sick and all this stuff? And we're going to have a really, really good time with that. So it'll be a lot of work on my end, but I want to pour into some people. I'm looking for those who are hungry. If that's you, let me know. Amen? Amen. And even if you've texted us before, text this one again. So I have you'll be in a specific group, and I can send out text just to that group. And you're going to want to download the Gate Church app. Type in your app store, the Gate Church of Jacksonville, and the logo that's up there on your screen, that's the Gate logo. Just go ahead and take that, pick that one and download it. If you have never been to our church, go right on there if you want and fill out the visitors form and send that in, and we'll put you in our email list for general emails and sign up and talk to us. We are going to do some great things together. We're going to build an army of people that know how to approach the throne room of God. And by the way, what we're going to do, and let me just tell you my plans. When I get these demographics, I see where everyone's at, I'm going to rent a space, and we're going to do a Friday night, all day Saturday intensive, hopefully in your area where you'll be able to come and be able to have us lay hands on you, teach you, train you, prophesy, and do all that stuff with you. So that's why I need the demographics. I need to know where everyone's at so I can see where I need to move around and come and do a School of the Prophets near you. That's what we want to do. And we're going to invite you to come to our conferences. So we got Todd coming in January. Man, you're going to want to be here for that 21st to 23rd. Todd and me will be ministering. Todd will probably be doing all the night sessions and Sunday morning. I'll probably just take Saturday morning. But we minister together at night. We do. We flow together. We're going to pray for the sick and prophesy and just work with whatever God wants to do in the meetings and the Holy Presence. Boy, Sunday morning, again, Carrie, the last 2 Sundays has been intense in her worship, and I'm so proud of the team and where they've come in their worship. It seems like they've hit a whole new level this month, and I'm so proud of them. So I'm really looking forward to. Also, remember, we do not have church this Sunday at the Gate Church, December 26th. I will be doing a live video, but you get to stay home in your PJs with your family if you want that. Have a cup of coffee, sit on the couch, and watch us. I look forward to seeing you there. God bless you, and you have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.